At Living Dangerously, there will be 2 title rematches. Firstly, Hiromu Takahashi will get his rematch with Mustafa for the Cruiserweight Championship, and the Four Horsemen will get their rematch against the Wyatt family for the Tag Team titles. The newest member of the Four Horsemen, Katsuyori Shibata. Bray Wyatt with the jump! A Shibata! An open challenge, basically. The next guy to come through that curtain will face him for the title at Living Dangerously. Who will it be? Minoru Suzuki accepts Corin's challenge. Suzuki broke Corin. The champion flinched. It's McIntyre assaulting Gargano. Future Shock onto that concrete flooring backstage. This will, as a result of that, have to be a 5-man battle royal. Welcome, Tyler Bate to ECW. Tyler Bate wins it. Tyler Bate will face Seth Rollins. The A-Show is back on top. Hello and welcome, Universe Mode. This is ECW. It is the final episode of ECW before Living Dangerously. And boy, oh boy, what a show it's going to be as we head into that pay-per-view with a great main event on its way. You saw how much happened last week, and I'm sure plenty more is set to happen here tonight. We have gone across the border into Canada for this one, in what promises to be a huge show with a huge main event. One you do not want to miss, and one that I am certainly giddy like a kid to witness. Triple H, Seth Rollins, main event of the evening here tonight. What a match we got on its way. What a show we got on its way. The A-Show is back on top. Never showed any signs of weakness. Before we get to any action, though, it is time to hear from the #1 contender to the ECW Championship, Tyler Bate. Bate made his debut on ECW last week. Joined in the Battle Royal, was the hidden member of the match that I never told you about, and went on to win it, as was almost expected from Bate, given the caliber of athlete that this man is. Bate now, though, heads into a huge match this Sunday. 2 arguably of the greatest champions this universe has ever seen square off one-on-one for the greatest prize on ECW, and maybe the greatest prize in this universe as well, being the one to dethrone Seth Rollins. Bate takes the microphone in hand and letting those who didn't know of him, let him know who he is. Tyler Bate, the former NXT champion. If they didn't know him for that, though, they will know for something very soon. Bate sees it as an honor to be on the A-Show in ECW with a general manager who has seen his career develop throughout the years, especially in NXT. I know talent when I see it. What can I say? But Bate is not here to be a suck-up. He's here to fight. He's here to win. That win started with a Battle Royal last week. He made his dream come true with his very first match in ECW. There's a title shot waiting for him. But to Bate, it's where it stops being a story, stops being a little joyous altercation, and starts becoming the fighting talk that is necessary if he wants to be a star. Bate is in a dream here to be on ECW, but he doesn't want to just be a part of the dream. He wants to live it. He wants to make it his own. So to Seth Rollins, he knows what it's like to be in the place where Rollins is. He knows what it's like to be on the very top of a brand with everyone wanting his prize, but he also knows what it's like to have it taken away from him, as it was at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Bate has done stuff very few others can do. He's the only man who's beaten the Velveteen Dream. He's the only man who stopped Corin on NXT, and he will do something else. He will be the one to end the reign that Seth Rollins has as ECW champion. He wants to live the dream, and it starts when he takes the title. He said we'll remember him as something else. That'll be ECW champion Bate. Already, the fighting talk getting to the #1 contender. He wants to be the one to end this reign. He wants to be the one to walk out of Living Dangerously with the ECW Championship around his waist. Bate, though, with how early he is suggesting all of this, especially around a guy like Seth Rollins, might be getting a bit big for his boots this soon. Well, with that out of the way, It's definitely going to be an interesting evening for Bate now. He has to pay attention to what happens in the ring in the main event. And we'll be paying attention to what happens in the ring right now as Oney Lorcan of the Four Horsemen goes one-on-one against Mustafa Ali, the Cruiserweight Champion, here to kick things off this evening. This one should be a pretty interesting contest between these two guys because the Four Horsemen have plenty to deal with coming up this Sunday between the Four Horsemen's rematch against the Wyatt family for the ECW Tag Team titles, and on top of that I can announce that Bray, Wyatt and Katsuyori Shibata will square off one-on-one as well as a result of Wyatt's attack on Shibata last week. Of course, we already know that Ali and Takahashi will square off one more time for the Cruiserweight Championship. Looking for this one to be the last match in a while between these two incredibly gifted in-ring talents, but who will walk out with the Cruiserweight Championship is the other question to ask. That question will be answered this Sunday. Those two have been at the very top of the division since September, October. But there can only be one top dog. There can only be one man who's definitely going to hold on to that Cruiserweight title. Will it be Ali or will it be Takahashi? Time will tell for us at Living Dangerously. It's going to be an absolutely incredible contest between those two. It's the one we saw before WrestleMania was. There has to be a winner though. There has to be closure in that. And Ali is getting himself ready for that night. Only half a week to go this Sunday. It's been a little while since WrestleMania. It's been a little while since our last pay-per-view, but no doubt about it, this universe has still had plenty to discuss with the draft, and with also what has happened last week and this week as well. Talking about tie-ups there, Ali able to back Lorcan up against the ropes twice, both times getting a clean break. Good respect from the Star Destroyer. Ali now taking control of the arm, trying to out-wrestle Lorcan here. Might not be the wisest decision. Lorcan can get pretty vicious when he wants to. Takes down Ali, wrenches that arm backwards. Ali grips onto the arm a little bit there, feeling the pain of it. Good counter. Super kick. Ali caught him with that one, but oh, Lorcan caught him with just as good of a lariat as well. Followed all the way through with it. Tonight, all about the singles matches as we strap ourselves in to Living Dangerously. Some good matches coming up this evening as well. Minoru Suzuki going to be in action. Drew McIntyre going to be in action as well, following his assault of Johnny Gargano last week. Maybe we might get an explanation as to why he did that. Horseman and Wyatt family to clash later on this evening as well. Big time powerbomb there from Mustafa Ali. Oh, full Nelson transitions. Reverse DDT and down goes Lorcan there. Ali with a good start here. Showing good fire. Knees going into the gut there. Almost overshot the crossbody a little bit. Or the splash rather, but still hit his target. Lorcan still in trouble. Ali off the ropes. Shining Wizard. Right to the back of Lorcan's head there. You can see how that affected the member of the Four Horsemen. Lorcan, though, able to move out of the way. Good work there to do just that, and Ali goes over the top rope and outside. A lot of viciousness in that there from Oney Lorcan. But it's Ali who gets the counter there, sending them into the announce table and sending Lorcan into the crowd temporarily there, but Ali walks past him. The Cruiserweight Champion wants to fight in the ring, not in the crowds. Pop-up drop kick there. Look at how, I know, Ali just seems on top of his game right now, like nothing can knock him off it. Oh, but Lorcan might well be getting knocked off the apron. Sunset flip bomb to the outside, a specialty of Takahashi. And Ali is in position. He is ready to pounce here. Ali, springboard through the ropes. There's the neck breaker. He sets up Lorcan in the right place. Lorcan another time, because the 054 connects and Mustafa Ali heads in to Living Dangerously with a win under his belt as he prepares for another clash. And maybe the last one with the time bomb. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ali was celebrating his win. Takahashi came running down a ringside through the crowd and takes the title. Look at this now. A stare down between the two men. Takahashi wants to hold that title for a third time. Ali with his eyes on the belt. Takahashi drops it in front of him as if to say he'll be having that prize come Sunday. But now we go backstage and Rollins with a warning message. The ECW champion with a warning message to Tyler Bate. Time for him to learn his place on ECW. Time to see how far below Seth Rollins he is. Time to lose this Sunday, kid. Forceful remarks from the champion, who certainly didn't take too kindly to what Bate had to say earlier this evening. My oh my, once again we find ourselves strapped in for more chaos on ECW. And I think that is only going to continue on as this night progresses, because up next, Chris Jericho one-on-one against Aleister Black, the newest member of the Four Horsemen, Katsuyori Shibata, at ringside with Jericho. And you can believe, you better believe, that a member of the Wyatt family, be it Wyatt himself or Strowman, is going to be at ringside with Black. Jericho and I assume Apollo Crews and Shibata is going to be in action on that evening, are going to go up against Aleister Black and Braun Strowman for the tag team titles. And it is a huge chance for the Horsemen to win back the straps they lost at WrestleMania. Because if they don't, if they fail to get the win, then oh my goodness, there is a long, long road they've got to go back up. We have about 9-10 teams now on ECW. The tag team division is stacked. And if the Four Horsemen cannot capture the gold this at Sunday, they can kiss it goodbye. They can kiss another chance at it goodbye. They're going to have to fight for it. And Jericho looking to do the same here tonight as he prepares for his match against the Wyatt family, who aren't even interested in the entrance, just getting right into the ring. Wyatt at ringside, Black in the ring, Jericho and Shibata on the other side. And Jericho and Black locking horns right now. There's a big German suplex from Jericho. There's going to be no feeling out process. There's going to be no kindness between either side here. These two men, these two groups hate one another. Hated one another heading into WrestleMania. And if anything, last week only amplified it with Bray Wyatt's assault on Shibata. Oh my, that's interesting. Following the declaration of Shibata as the newest member of the Horsemen, Jericho warps back to the turnbuckle and gets an almighty double foot stomp down, courtesy of the King of the Ring. Aleister Black is certainly a name to keep your eye out for in 2019 on ECW. There is a lot that Black could do. There is a lot of danger that Black could make happen. Big Tiger suplex there by the veteran Chris Jericho. Nice drop kick to follow along with it as well. Jericho now on top of his game, getting focused, getting fired up, and trying to get one over on Aleister Black, heading into Living Dangerously. As Black gets slingshotted into the ropes there in the turnbuckle. You can see this is all business from Jericho. This is all about making Aleister Black hurt, making him pay for WrestleMania, making the Wyatt family pay for trying to make things personal with their assault on Oney Lorcan just before WrestleMania. STO though from the King of the Ring. Black into the cover. Got to keep your eye on what could happen at ringside as well with those combustible elements, Shibata and Wyatt. It definitely wouldn't surprise me if they got at each other's throats. Especially after Wyatt's unprovoked attack on Shibata last week. Black there with a chin lock. And now he goes up to the top rope here. Aleister Black looking to fly. Moonsault. Jericho had it. Jericho saw it incoming. Got the knees up in time. Aleister Black in trouble there. Jericho now looking for the walls. Looking for the walls. Looking for the walls of Jericho. He's got it locked in. Walls of Jericho stitched in. Black trying to crawl to the ropes. Jericho, the walls of Jericho. Can he make Black tap out before living dangerously? Not going to happen. The tag team champion gets his way out of it. Jericho and Black now squaring up with one another. Leg swept. Single leg Boston Crab now applied by Aleister Black. And Jericho is able to kick him away there. Still plenty to play for in this one as these two men now still continue to lock horns with one another. Jericho looks for an Irish whip, countered, and oh, Wyatt getting involved, pulling on the leg there. And look at this now, Shibata getting up on the top, getting up on the apron. Distractions being caused by both sides, and the referee has no choice but to throw both men out. The match was falling apart. Both men have been thrown out here. Jericho and Black watching on in the ring, and meanwhile Shibata and Wyatt had just launched themselves on the barricade, brawling with one another. They couldn't stop themselves. The fight is on, quickly fighting their way back up to the top of the ramp here. The fight starts between these two men, Shibata and Wyatt, just before their battle of living dangerously. Referee trying to demand there's some kind of calmness in there. Jericho watching on. It is all breaking apart outside of the ring right now. The referee trying to get control here by any means. Wait a minute. Back in the ring meanwhile. Aleister Black has just slid in with a steel chair. Referee never saw it. Steel chair for Black. And on the ramp, Braun Strowman has added himself into the mix. Strowman on Shibata. Running power slam. Plants the wrestler down on top of the ramp. The Wyatt family stand tall over Shibata. Ref never saw the chair shot. Black Mass connects. Referee never saw it. Black Mass will end it. Victory for the Wyatt family. Just before living dangerously. Dirty Tricks get the win. And now Bray Wyatt stands in the ring and says the date is fast approaching. May 5th, 2019, the day that the Horseman died. Sister Abigail has given the Wyatt family the strength, and Shibata will experience it personally for Bray Wyatt. Their resting place, the gravestones have been written of the Horseman, and on Sunday they will prepare to die. Bray Wyatt has made it his goal to end the Horseman, and we will see if that happens come Sunday. Wyatt family, Horseman, Bray Wyatt, Shibata, do not miss. This hatred spilling over one last time. Oh my goodness, that was just insanity. Insanity. From top to bottom there. Jesus. That's insane. But I believe it has all been resolved now. Wow, as resolved as it can get. It's going to be insane this Sunday with them locking horns. Who would have thought that a rematch could get so personal? Well, coming out now, Austin Aries as he prepares to go one-on-one against Minoru Suzuki here. Suzuki, of course, heading towards a title match against Corin this weekend at Living Dangerously for the ECW Television Championship. Aries wanting to prove that he's still got what it takes to be a top guy here on ECW. He has to do that, though, by overcoming none other than the man with the worst personality in the world, the bodyguard of ECW, that is Minoru Suzuki. He has to try and overcome him in order to make sure that Aries can still prove he belongs here. God, what a... Still can't get that out of my head, though. Everything just fell apart. Everything just broke apart in the blink of an eye. They were going at one another's throats. And here comes a man who will gladly launch himself at the throat of Corin come Sunday. A man who doesn't back down from a fight. As a matter of fact, he's fine with instigating them, as we saw last week, as you saw in the recap from last week as well at the top of the show. Corin flinched when Suzuki locked that fist. And he has every reason to be scared of this man. Suzuki will just do whatever. Suzuki has no care. He'll do whatever it takes. And he'll do anything to hurt anyone, especially a guy like Corin. Suzuki preparing for this contest here. Suzuki is a guy, he's such a veteran in this industry, he doesn't need his warm-up matches. He doesn't need to get in the zone for a title match. He just needs to show up. Just show up and just hurt someone. That's all he needs to do. He's fine then, he's happy. I believe this is the third time maybe that Suzuki is challenged for the television title now. And it will definitely be the first time that he will share the ring with Corin. And that is going to be an incredible fight. It is going to be a fight because they're just going to throw forearms at one another until the other one considers staying down. Corin said he'll face anyone, and I wonder if he rues his words, if he regrets them now when this man stepped up to the plate. Corin likes to make himself seem like a big guy, likes to make himself seem like he's above everyone else, but I can guarantee there is not a soul on the face of this earth that doesn't have some fear within them for Minoru Suzuki. And I guarantee that Corin will be added to it as well. Hopefully Minoru Suzuki will be adding something else to him this Sunday. And that would be the ECW Television Championship. If there's anyone who could dethrone Corin, not off of momentum, not off of the crowd on this side, but just out of being a hard bastard, it would be Suzuki. And Corin's going to realize that here tonight when Suzuki locks horns one-on-one against one of the most successful men in the history of this universe. Austin Aries, Grand Slam champion, Royal Rumble winner. The only singles accomplishment he doesn't have that would be great for his career is the Money in the Bank. Everything else he has done. Cruiserweight Championship, done. Tag team titles, done. Secondary titles, done. World titles, 4 of them. Actually, no, is it 4 or is it 5? Now that I think about it. No, it's 4. It's 4. 2 world titles, WWE title, ECW title. Yep. But I'll tell you what Suzuki has that Austin Aries doesn't have. No care in the world. Absolutely no care in the world. Suzuki doesn't care about those accolades. Suzuki doesn't give a shit about Austin Aries. To put it as simply as possible, he just sees him as another guy to hurt. As these two men lock horns. I still think, don't get me wrong, as you can see, Austin Aries is still in ECW, but then again I think... I'll get back to my point in a second, but... What I was going to say is Aries is still in ECW. Of course, Breeze got traded to Monday Night Raw. Men could have gone down to NXT, and Aries is still here. And there's a very simple reason behind that. I think Austin Aries is too big of a name to go down. I mean, this is, as I said, this guy's won the most titles in the history of this universe. He has every reason to stay on this brand. He's a guy who could lose every match for the rest of his career in this universe and still go down as a legend. That's the level that Austin Aries finds himself in. But Suzuki simply doesn't care about that. Armbar locked in now by Suzuki, looking to try and make Aries tap out here. Aries fighting through it. So Minoru Suzuki, despite typically aligning himself with Seth Rollins, is a guy who heads into this Sunday with the support of the crowd. And I think there's one very simple reason why that's the case. He's fighting Corin. That's it. Good work there by Aries to get out of the sleeper hold. That was very nicely done there for the multi-time world champion. Suzuki counters him, but couldn't counter that forearm in the face. Rocked him slightly. Aries now, DDT. I wonder if Corin and the Clockwork Project have an eye on this match right now, have an eye on Suzuki, seeing what he does, how he does things, how he takes apart his opponent. Because Corin can act as cocky as he wants, but I can guarantee that you want to know something like that you want to have information like that available to you as soon as possible. Aries going up to the top rope here. Big drop kick out of the chest. Look at how Suzuki, though, almost shrugging it off, rolling around. Not really seeming like a guy who was in pain following that move. In the turnbuckle we go now. Double-footed drop kick there from Aries. Walked up and was able to get not only that leap, but the force behind his legs for that one. Good move. Good 2 count. Perhaps the run-up would have done more in favor. Crossed in Aries. Not happening there. Suzuki again goes back to the sleeper hold. This time sits down on it. Locks the legs around the waist. But Aries in the ropes some way or another to prevent that from happening. Elbow into the gut there. Look at this though. Minoru Suzuki takes punishment on the knee of Aries. And he's loving this. Just jogging on the spot, enjoying himself, doing as he pleases. Minoru Suzuki's MO. If he's having fun, I can guarantee you his opponent is not. Right into the ring pole there. And sit-out bomb. Forced out of the turnbuckle. There is Aries. Aries was looking good a moment ago. That sleeper hold almost changed everything. And it's not getting much better for him. Another sleeper hold applied. Another sleeper locked in. Aries in big trouble here. Moving his arms around frantically. Trying not to tap out. And he still doesn't submit here. Still fighting on. Aries needs to come up with something big. A brainbuster. Last chance, so he needs to find something here. If the clap of the ears counted there. Suzuki gonna make him pay. GSP. Gotch style pile driver. Stick a fork in it. It's over. Suzuki hits the pile driver that could very well grant him the ECW television title come this Sunday. Suzuki wins. Job done. Will that be the fate come Living Dangerously? Will Suzuki vanquish Corin? One can hope. Suzuki walking around the ring in the face of victory, and oh, look who's made their way out. The Clockwork Project standing on the stage, applauding Suzuki, and he wants to fight one of them, as if to say, if you want to do something, then come on, come down to the ring. None of them will do such a thing, no. But this Sunday, Corin will have to stand in the ring alongside Suzuki. He will have to fight him. Speaking of fighting, coming up right now, Drew McIntyre prepares to go one-on-one against Randy Orton. And we saw McIntyre fighting and beating down Johnny Gargano last week. We saw Gargano taken out of that 6-man battle royal, made into a 5-man battle royal as a result of the actions of Drew McIntyre. And you can hear the hatred is carried over into Canada for this man as well. McIntyre, proud of what he did. And why wouldn't he be? But I mean, he didn't win. He didn't get that opportunity of the title. He didn't win the Battle Royal. And turnabout is about to be fair play. Payback is a bitch. Gargano charging down the ramp with a chair into the back of Drew McIntyre. This was coming his way. McIntyre, victim of the chair shots of Gargano. Johnny Gargano getting revenge for last week. DDT right down on the chair. Johnny wrestling. Steel chair shots. The crowd is on their feet for Johnny wrestling, and I don't blame them one bit. If they want to fight, they can fight. They'll fight on Sunday. They'll fight at Living Dangerously. That's fine with me. As for now, it is time for a huge main event. I don't care, that match is out of the window. Coming up next, Triple H, Seth Rollins. Let's do it. What a main event we're in for. Safe to say this has been another chaotic show. I think you'd be hard-pressed to disagree with me on that one. Nevertheless, we have arrived at our main event of the evening. Like I said just a moment ago, if Gargano and McIntyre want to fight, they'll fight Sunday. That's fine with me. I'll make it happen. As for now, though, Triple H and Seth Rollins will lock horns in the main event of this evening. They will do battle with one another in the main event here tonight. What a contest this is going to be between the greatest world champion the history of wrestling has ever seen, and one of the greatest men in this universe to have never held a world title. Triple H was the first man out in the Battle Royal last week, which is almost surprising. I think Triple H expected he would go a little further in it, but ended up not being the case. Thrown out by McIntyre, was it? I think it might have been. But now Triple H given a grand opportunity here tonight as he goes one-on-one against Seth Rollins. He still gets to prove what he's all about, why he is an important asset to ECW, and why he's more than just someone on this roster for me to fanboy over. Triple H, though, knows the situation he finds himself in, knows what he's got to do here tonight in order to show that he deserves to be at the very top of ECW, that he deserves to be in the talk for the title. He needs to show that he has earned it, that he deserves it, and that he should have it. Whether or not he'll make it happen, though, is something that we'll have to see, because, I mean, you know, for all of Triple H's incredibly talented at, and I will say it's an awful lot, there is obviously the reality that Triple H has never held a world title, that Triple H on so many opportunities that he's challenged for the world title as well just comes up short. He can't afford for that to happen again. He can't afford to make that mistake again. He's got to capitalize on it. He's got to take advantage. But he's in the ring with Seth Rollins. He's in the ring with the very greatest of all time. I'm sure there's no one in this ring right now who the crowd or anyone watching at home really wants to cheer for. But I want to cheer for both. This is more so a match for me. So, welcome to the A Show. You'll still love the match regardless. It's two incredibly talented athletes. And it is a man on day 620 of his reign as ECW champion. It is the greatest of all time. It is the longest reigning champion in the history of this universe. It is the superstar of the year for 2018. It is Seth freaking Rollins. The only man to win in the main event of WrestleMania with no bullshit, no shenanigans, and still walk out with his championship at the end of the evening. The only man to have won a main event of WrestleMania clean and leave the event with that title still around his waist. Rollins continues to make history, continues to sculpt his legacy, continues to make ECW a show that will be remembered by Seth Rollins. I talked earlier about how Aries could lose every match of his career and still be a legend. Seth Rollins could lose every match of his career after losing that title and still go down as the greatest of all time. Because people would forget those losses. They wouldn't worry about them. They wouldn't care about them. What everyone would remember is this reign. And I guarantee you, years from now, when this universe is probably still going, we will still be talking about this reign. There will be people who have never heard about it, but the legacy of it, the legend of it, will carry on. And that is something I think that Tyler Bate doesn't understand. This title reign of Rollins eclipses everything. It eclipses Tyler Bate. It eclipsed all the incredible wonders that Tyler Bate achieved on NXT. And I'm not saying they weren't incredible wonders. He beat Corin. He's the only man to beat the Velveteen Dream. And he beat him twice. But at the same time that he was achieving all of that, Rollins was already champion and is still champion. And after this Sunday, he will still be champion. I don't want to shit talk. Also, you can tell how hated Rollins is in Canada. They're cheering Triple H. But I don't want to shit talk Bate. And I'm not trying to. I don't want to talk ill of an incredibly gifted athlete like Tyler Bate is. But if Bate believes he is already on a higher level than the man who has held down the fort of ECW for now 20 months, you have got to be in over your head. You've got to be blind to the truth. Tyler Bate says he's living in a dream. Or he's going to live the dream when he wins the title at Living Dangerously. Well, I'm here to inform you, Bate, you're not going to be living the dream come Sunday. You are going to wake up to a harsh reality. That you, like everyone else in ECW, isn't on the same level as Seth Rollins. It's just a fact. Rollins has proven it. And it's not a matter of, oh, that's your opinion. No, it's fact. When you hold a title for 600 plus days, when you defend your title in the main event of WrestleMania, when you sacrifice your body month in, month out, like Seth Rollins has since before he was even ECW champion, yeah, it becomes a fact at that point. Tyler Bate is one of the greatest, I will say it. He's one of the greatest in this universe. It's an honor to have him on ECW. And yes, there'll come a time he will be ECW champion. I can guarantee it. But that time isn't this Sunday, and he's not the man to dethrone Seth Rollins. I don't know who it is. I don't know who that man can be. But it could be Tyler Bate. Just not this Sunday. He's too inexperienced. He's never been on as big of a stage of an ECW pay-per-view. Tyler Bate is simply not ready to take that title away from Seth Rollins. Maybe by next WrestleMania he could be. But not tonight. Not this Sunday. Not next month. The way I see it right now, no one stands any threat of taking that title away from Rollins on any brand. Any brand. Even Brock Lesnar. And I say that with a straight face. Trying to focus back on this main event match anyway. These two guys have been trading back and forth with one another. Been seeing some good athleticism from Rollins. So a meteor off the top rope. Triple H getting aggressive now. Triple H goes would love to spoil the talk of the main event of Rollins versus Bate, two of the very best in this universe, locking horns for the first time. And to achieve victory over the ECW champion is a feat in and of itself. It's something that is outstanding to behold. Triple H looking for the spine buster. Great counter. Great counter by Rollins right there. Took full advantage. Rollins in. Architect's annihilation. But Triple H took off the turnbuckle pad. Triple H removed the turnbuckle pad. Referee distracted for a moment. And that enables Triple H to kick out at 2. Match could have been over right there and then. But the cerebral assassin, whether or not he intended that cunning ploy to happen that way, that's how it turned out, and he's still in this match as a result of it. Triple H now slingshotting Rollins' throat into that bottom rope. Agony there for the ECW champion to endure. Triple H now has kept Rollins down on the mat and is going to work on him here, beating him down. Spine buster from Triple H. Finally gets the spine buster this time around, but Rollins kicks out oh so early. Triple H though still in control of this contest. Never mind, maybe I spoke too soon. Rollins in with the counter. Back elbow there from Triple H. And Triple H is in! Triple H is in! Pedigree! Pedigree from Triple H on Rollins for the win! Rollins kicks out at 2. A dangerous move there from Triple H. Struck with the pedigree seemingly out of the blue. And look at this now. Triple H wants to put things away. Can't believe the pedigree didn't end things. Already 2 and now a 3rd cover being added here. Triple H is desperate to beat Seth Rollins, but again, Rollins kicks out at 1. Weak kickouts, but kickouts nonetheless. Rollins is still in this one, much to the chagrin of Triple H. Big knee in the face by Rollins. Counter there though by Triple H, who is certainly proving why he is in the talk of being at the very top of ECW, proving that he has earned his spot up here already as he gives the ECW champion a very tough match here. Rollins though looking to break out the greatest hits. Superplex follows through. Falcon Arrow cover on Triple H to put him away. Victory for Rollins. Oh, 2.5 there on that count. Triple H kicks out and is smart as well. Veteran instinct of the game to get out of the ring. Rollins though going up high. Crossbody to the outside. Are you learning your message now, Tyler Bate? This is why Seth Rollins is on another level. When he gets in top gear, he doesn't get out of it. He just goes faster. Curb stomp. Cover from Rollins to put it all away, and somehow Triple H kicks out at 2. I think Rollins is going to be surprised by that one as well. Rollins keeps going. Double forearms. Swing blade. Tyler Bate's got to be making notes of what's going on here. The youngster got to be realizing just how difficult it's going to be to defeat a man like like Seth Rollins. But Triple H is making life difficult for Rollins as well. Rollins is learning how difficult it is to beat a man like Triple H. Superplex from the game. And he's hoping it's enough for the win. Rollins still can power out at the count of 1 though. And again, back to the turnbuckle pad goes Triple H. Trying to do anything he can to take advantage here. Backbreaker. Triple H is working over Rollins now. Great counter from Rollins there. Caught him flush with that reversal. Rollins in again. Curb stomp. And look who's made their way down the ramp. Down the ramp as his curb stomp is hit. As the referee puts the turnbuckle pad back on. Bate at ringside. The number 1 contender standing at ringside. Rollins looking him down. And Rollins making sure he sees what he's about to do. Turnbuckle pad back on. Cover on Triple H. The game hasn't moved a muscle, and Seth Rollins wins it. Rollins, your winner this evening over Triple H, and demands the title right away. And look at this now. Bate and Rollins about to stare down. Bate gets in the ring and goes face to face with the ECW champion. Face to face with the man he meets this Sunday. 2 of the very greatest meet at Living Dangerously. Do not miss it. Living Dangerously. What a show it's gonna be.